Hi, Jack Canfield here with another episode of Talking About Success. A very special guest today. You know, we talk about success in many areas of our life. There's financial success and career success and health success and so on, but it's also relationship success. And relationships, probably the most important aspect of our life. And my next guest, Dr. Sharon Livingston, is, among many things, a relationship expert. Now think about this. Have you ever been heartbroken? If I ask that question and 400 people, I get 400 people raise their hand in a seminar. And have you ever been heartbroken by a friend? And the answer to that is most people could say yes as well. And so today we're going to talk about the author here of a wonderful book called Get Lost Girlfriend. And, and it really stems from her experience of having her best friend say bye-bye. So we're going to look at how you dealt with that, the lessons that can come from that, and how you can help move through those kinds of painful, challenging experiences. And there are many experiences of loss, as we'll talk about as well. But I would also say, you know, she's helped hundreds of women with their relationship issues. And in the business world, has sold more than $40 million worth of consulting services. That's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
And you may have read about her in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and other major media. So welcome.
Hi, Jack.
Glad to have you here, Sharon. So talk about, you've written this book, Get Lost Girlfriend.
Yes.
What is that book about and what makes it different than most other books on relationships?
Well, unbelievably, there aren't too many things written about women relationships that break up. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look up relationships and broken hearts, there's lots about men and women, men and women, men and women, but almost nothing about two women. And it's amazing. When I was going through this experience, I had a client who was told by her boyfriend that he no longer wanted to be with her. And so she was crying to me about it and telling me all about it. And this was a marketing research client, not a therapy client. And I was going, oh my God, I know exactly how you feel, and blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know what? I have to tell you, I went through something very similar with my best friend. And she went, oh, with your best friend? That's the worst thing in the whole world. And I was, yeah, it really was. It just broke me up. Mm-hmm. But there isn't much, to say about that. And my husband and I run a coaching training program, and so he wanted to demonstrate an intake interview. And so he said, "Do you want to be the faux client?" And I said, "Sure." And he said, "Okay, so honey, what are we Sharon. What are we talking about today?" And I said, "Well, I'm having trouble in a relationship." He said, "A relationship?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "With whom?" I said, "Well, with my former best friend." And he said, "So say more." And I said, "Well, I was really close with this woman and she was my best friend." He said, "But I know you. Now, what kind of relationship was that?" I said, "Well, she confronted me and asked me if I was a lesbian, but I'm not. I mean, I'm married to you." Oh, I'm sorry, I'm a client, I forgot. But it was she dumped me. And I don't really understand why. I really cared about her a lot, and she just decided she didn't want to be friends with me anymore. And he said, "Well, you seem a little bit uncomfortable." And I said, "Well, I am." He said, "Why?" I said, "Well, who goes into a therapist or a coach to talk about your friend? You go in about your parents or about your husband or about your boyfriend, but not about a friend. I feel like, why can't I handle this?" And so at any rate, when this happened, it was devastating to me. I really didn't understand it. And I started writing and pouring out my heart to myself. At one point, I was going up and down the stairs, and I do 100 flights of stairs every day for exercise. Mm-hmm. And I was screaming. I was just screaming. Like, how could this be? How could this be? I mean, when I really care about someone, I give it my all. And it wasn't enough. No matter what I had, it wasn't enough. I couldn't change it. And so my book is about that torture, but also about how I stayed with the pain and worked through it and started to find my humor and started to find the fact that I did have a best friend. It was me. It was myself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had told me like a year before that I'd ever say that, I would have said, come on, I'm too needy, too dependent. I need people. I'm a very heavy extrovert. If I don't have another person in my life, it's not good enough. And my husband's an INTJ, which is more of a loner. He's up in his cave. We get together, in the evening, and it's wonderful. But I need people. But I found out that I could be with myself, and I could find things I love to do with myself, like in the fall, going out and taking pictures of the foliage and just feeling ecstatic and a high from doing something artistic that I love doing. So it was a way to find myself.
And so in writing this book, there was a healing that occurred in terms of really finding your own inner strength, your own
Yes.
self that you loved, and your own self-love. That's beautiful. Now, I know that you like to also talk to the people that are your readers, and you're a therapist, so you talk to people a lot. Tell us more about that. Why do you like that so much?
Why do I like talking to people so much? I'm being very vulnerable here. It's sort of like, when I look into your eyes,
Mm-hmm.
I see myself reflected through them. And it's sort of like, oh yeah, I'm someone that counts because I see myself through another's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And is that the healthiest thing in the world? I mean, some people would probably say no, but there's an incredible joy that I get in interacting with other people and being able to help other people. I mean, that's where I get my sense of purpose. And so having that, and then seeing, I would look into the mirror. There's this an exercise where you look into the mirror and you really look into your eyes so you can see your soul.
Sure.
And I started doing that more. And while I was doing that, I found my creative process and my imagination. And so in the book, I have this surprise, which is this really funny character. His name is TDW, Tall, Dark, and Weird, because he appears at various times to kind of help me out. And my dog knows when he's there, but my husband doesn't. And he's sort of like an ancestor or something. Like, I have this imagination that he's my great-great-great uncle who died when he was 15 of typhus, come back to existence in this form that takes care of me.
So he's a guide in a sense.
He's a guide.
A nurturing part of yourself, really, and coming through you, through him.
And he's a pain in the ass.
And he's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I get that, how that can be. So let me ask you this. You healed yourself in the process of writing this book.
Yes.
And you wrote it with the intention, I assume, of helping other people as well. And you've had people read the book and give you feedback. What kind of feedback do you get from people who read the book?
They have to tell me all their struggles. Like, that happened to you too? Oh my God, my friend, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes it's a female friend, sometimes it's a male friend. It's never a sexual partner. Mm-hmm. It's always a friend that betrayed them, where they feel betrayed in some way or rejected or just really misunderstood. Mm-hmm. And it was something where they wanted and the other person said no, and the devastation of that. And so when they read the book, they have to tell me. They write in these stories. I've had so many people write in stories about the pain, and they want to talk about it. And because of that, I put together a program. So,
Talk about the program.
What to do when your best friend dumps you.
Mm-hmm. And what form is the program in?
So it's a series of modules where they can come. It's an online program, and I do have some in-person ones as well. Like I live in New Hampshire, so it's a smaller community, but people can take part in webinars that are global. I use GoToWebinar. It's my favorite one that I use.
Sure.
And I have an office in New Hampshire, so they can come see me there too.
Very cool. Well, I wish that had been around about 30, 40 years ago. I had a male friend dump me. And I was a white teacher in a black school. He was black. We were really close friends. I mean, really close friends. He's my best male friend at that time. And he became a black Muslim and rejected me. So I wish your program had been around because I was very much in pain about that. I think as a man, I didn't show it as much because it wasn't like that wasn't part of who I was at that time. I've grown and become more aware of my
More
feelings
feminine.
and more whole. I've owned.
I love that. I'm joking
the
you.
emotional side of myself, but yes, I would say that's true. And so I think it's a really valuable resource for people because there's not a lot of. There isn't anything else out there like that, really. You know what to do when your best friend.
Like
dumps you.
suck it up.
Yeah. Life happens. Suck it up. Come on. But
Right.
it's not that easy. Especially, I think sometimes it's almost more painful when your best friend dumps you than even a spouse dumps you.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you because okay, they're no longer attracted. There's not the sexual energy.
Right.
But when you're really friends with someone, it goes beyond. It's more
Mm-hmm.
like seeing the essence, and it doesn't matter because you don't have sex with them, so they don't have to be attractive in that way.
Right.
But it's more about a serious connection that goes beyond everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And ideally, you have that with your spouse as well, so that you've got both aspects. But when a friend does that, it's devastating.
I get it. So if people want to get a hold of you, because you've got this program, you're a therapist, you've got this book that's available, how would they get you? Where do they find you?
Well, they can call me, 603. I've got the best phone number in the whole world. It's my cell, and I really do respond. 603-505-5000.
505-5000.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of online commercials on the radio that would love to have that phone number.
Right?
That's an easy one to remember. Good for you. And is there a website?
GetLostGirl.com.
GetLostGirl.com. All right. All big one word.
Yep.
Okay, very good. God, I wish we had more time to talk. You're fascinating. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks.
So, GetLostGirlfriend.com.
GetLostGirl.
GetLostGirl.com. Okay, very good. All right. Wish we had more time. We don't. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this message.
Thank you.